Hi, hello, good people of Ableton Land. I'm back with the first update to Augur, my mutating sequencer, and I had a lot of you reach out with feature requests, and I love this part of the development cycle because often you're suggesting things that I just maybe hadn't thought of myself, and I think your suggestions always make the devices better for everyone. So I've added a bunch of those requests in this new update. In fact, I've added so much stuff that I'm not going to call this version 1.1. I'm going to call this Augur version 1.5. So let's go over everything. Let's turn up the filter on this synth here. We'll start from the left and we'll work our way across. The mutate knob has changed. It's now bipolar. So it's at 0 when it's at 12 o'clock, and no mutation will occur. And then if we turn it up, now we have a mutation with a greater chance of adding new notes while it mutates others. And then if we turn it past 0 the other way, it goes back to the original behavior where notes are mutating and there's also a chance that notes will be eaten. There's also still a bit of unpredictability in that either direction can still do the opposite behavior a little bit. It's just that, yeah, forwards higher is now much more additive, while negative is subtractive. Then we have length to the right. This is another request from several people. I've now just upped the max length to be up to 32 steps. And then you'll see that we've got a brand new dial here as well called Gravity. This one was inspired by a very nice internet friend who some of you may know as Alex from the Human Synthetics YouTube channel. Alex is very, very good with music theory, and he pointed out something he noticed with version 1 of Augur, something he's noticed in basically any MIDI device that kind of attempts to generate notes in a set scale. So let's say that we're playing in the key of F minor. F minor has 7 notes, but then the A flat major scale also has those exact same 7 notes because it's its relative major key. So the only real difference between the two scales is what note feels like home, and that's what Gravity is trying to take care of. Take that into consideration and try to guide the ear into hearing the right notes of the scale we're in. So Alex shared some very interesting literature with me on this, and it really inspired this feature, Gravity. So Gravity controls how strongly the sequencer favors the tonal center of whatever scale you're in. At 0, all the scale degrees are equally weighted, and then as you turn it up, the pitches start favoring the root, the 5th, the 3rd, and the 7th, which kind of anchors the melody more firmly in the key. And then once you get past 75%, something else starts to happen as well. Kind of voice leading tendencies start to fade in. So the leading tone, it wants to resolve to the root. The 4th relaxes down toward the 3rd. The dominant tries to get home. It's just sort of nudging the probabilities in those directions, kind of the directions that our ears have come to expect from years and years of Western music and harmony. So yeah, just a little something to add more depth to your melodies. And yeah, it was a great idea, Alex, and I'm really happy to have added this to Augur. I've also overhauled the speed of the sequencer. Several people have asked for the sequencer to go super slow for ambient stuff. So now we can set the speed of each step to be up to 8 bars long. I won't play an 8 bar speed because it'll be a little boring for us, but we'll play a bar. So now each step is 1 bar long. And then for the shorter speeds, we now have straight notes, triplets, and dotted, just giving us more rhythmic options. One small thing that someone noticed when using the hold button is that when you turn off hold, it just plays from wherever the melody was paused. But if you have this device playing along with other things, those other things don't know to wait for Augur. So when Augur comes off of hold mode, the pattern is no longer tied to the same position or phase as the other tracks. So now when we turn on hold, we just kind of count how long it's been on, and then it jumps to where it should be when it's turned off. And then the last one, and maybe the biggest one, especially if you're a push user, but also if you're not, in Live 12.4, Ableton finally introduced a way to do mappings right on the push. This was a caveat of the original Augur. If you had a Push 3 standalone, you couldn't map things directly on the push. You had to do it on your computer. And of course, with the standalone, maybe you don't have your computer connected at all, but no more. Now you can map things directly on the push. I have set this up just like the new stock LFO device does it. And in that spirit, I've also changed the way things can be modulated. So before we were using what Live calls remote modulation, where we take over the dial or param of whatever we want to modulate. And it works great for some stuff. For example, let me show you. I'll map this to frequency. So as you can see, I can't grab this. It's completely taken over. Turn this off and turn the frequency back up. And that's fine. We still have the option. It's actually great for lots of things. But now we have an option to switch from remote mode to modulate mode. So we'll switch like this, map this again. And now you can see I can adjust it even though it's being modulated. So the modulation works on top of wherever the map dial is currently set. The dial position becomes the starting point, and Augur modulates from there. And then the depth control determines how deep the modulation is, and it can go negative as well. And then remote mode is the original behavior. The modulator takes full control of the map parameter, ignoring everything, whatever the dial is set to. And then the min and max control the range. And these can also go negative too. So you could go like this, and it'll now be essentially going in reverse. So this remote mode is the mode to use when you want hard control over the full sweep of a parameter. It also works for things that modulate mode won't work with. For example, you can't use the modulate mode on a toggle button, but you can with remote mode. This is actually exactly how Live's stock LFO works, by the way, too. Another thing that this new modulation mode allows us to do, which is one of my favorite things, is we can now self-modulate Augur. We can control Augur with Augur. So let me show you what I mean. Let's map this to the speed of Augur. And now it's jumping around. This, I think, is a very fun idea. Let's try this with a ramp. So every time the pattern repeats, it starts fast and slows down. One other thing that this brings me to is that if you want to be able to modulate almost anything, you do need to stick with the remote mode. Modulate won't work on things like a toggle button or certain dials which use enums behind the scenes, but remote mode will. And if you have something mapped via remote mode and you try to switch it on the fly, and modulate mode doesn't like that parameter, you'll see this message down here. And basically it just becomes unmapped. This is exactly the same behavior that the stock LFO does to handle this. If you have this mapped to something like, say, drift and switch, it's fine. It's just a number. Drift is just a number, so it allows it. You'll just see that it's just one thing to keep note of. And again, this is the same way that the stock Ableton LFO handles it, so I think that's the right way to do it. So there's the two modes, mod and remote. They cover different use cases. Remote is far better for dramatic sweeps. Modulate is better for adding movement to a parameter that already has like a useful starting position. And this whole new mapping feature only works with Live 12.4. It's something new that Ableton have added behind the scenes. And because of that, for the time being, I'm going to release 2 versions of Augur, one for Live 12.4 and one for Live 12.3. This way, if you're not ready to update to 12.4 yet, you can still use the device. You just won't have that ability to map stuff directly on your push. But the other new mod changes will be there. And then last thing I just want to cover is these 3 global mod controls. So mod smooth is pretty self-explanatory. It smooths the modulation. If it's down at 0, it's the previous behavior, and the modulation can be quite abrupt because it's changing every step. But this will smooth it out if that's what you need for a certain project. Mod slew is similar. It basically limits how quickly the mod values can rise or fall. It's like a speed limit, so it doesn't affect the small jumps, but it affects the large jumps. And then offset is just that. It shifts the entire modulation output up by a fixed amount without changing the base value. So at 0% no change, and then as we go up, it just pushes things higher. And this can be used in combination with the depth. Of course, the depth being negative as well. Just a couple options to open things up. So I think I've covered everything. There also is a manual, I should say. You can find it on my website or in the download. And I've updated that manual to cover all this new stuff. Another thing is we started up a Discord recently. It's not super active yet, but we've got a couple dozen people in there. And if you use Discord, I would love to have you there. I would love to have a way to chat more directly with you, more casually about these devices, about music, Ableton, life, coffee, dogs, whatever. Please feel free. There's a link below. And again, just thank you for the kind words about Augur. I'm really glad that you're enjoying it. It's really cool to hear music made with the device. Please keep sending those things in. I will be back with more soon. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. I am the most busy I've ever been, but I also love it. And yeah, thanks for watching this far in the video. I hope you're doing very well. Have a nice day. Talk soon. Goodbye. Peace.